continue to hope that we see the following day. And for some of us, our birthdays in the month of June is a special month. Happy birthday to us. Welcome. This is Voice of the People 92.3 FM. My name is Esther Machukwani. I'm officially welcome you to the Political Spotlight. On the Political Spotlight, we get to look at issues across Nigeria's political landscape. We look at permutations. We actually look at conspiracy theories. We try to find our political landscape this point in time and decide which of this period or which of the political situations ongoing it actually reflects Nigeria's interest. And whether we like it or not, to be honest with you, it's quite imperative that we judiciously look into the issues affecting the country this time around, because like I said, it's important for us to be aware of what is going on around us politically, and that's what we do right here on the Political Spotlight. We're streaming live on YouTube. Go on to YouTube right about now at VOP 903 FM on YouTube, and also follow our social media handles at VOP 903 FM. That's on X, on Instagram, as well as on Facebook. So remember that the period is on, permutations are high, things are up, people are wondering, putting certain persons in the limelight and wondering. But the big question in all of this is, for example, is a coalition being formed? Is it for the interest of Nigerians or for the interest of certain persons? Another question to ask is a coalition being formed to oust Peterobi out of any political party whatsoever, whereby in the Labour Party that is in disarray, he loses, in the coalition that he's part of, he loses, and at the end of the day, he has nowhere to be? The third question to ask of is, why can't the other political party members, specifically the bigwigs like Atiku, who is proposing a VP slot for Peter Obi, why can't he decide to be an elder statesman and support Peter Obi? Another question is, which of them is ready to sacrifice for Nigerians and not themselves? And what I mean by sacrifice for Nigerians is, which of them is ready to say, you know what, go ahead, let's galvanize together. Let us ensure we take this country and redirect the country in the right path, if indeed they believe that the president is not who he is, or that the president does not have the interests of the people at heart. So, for example, one very funny and interesting personality is Rotimi Amaechi. Rotimi Amaechi had quite a lot to say while he was marking his 60th birthday. I would like us to listen briefly to Rotimi Amaechi, because it is quite imperative that these are the factors coming together to say, you know what, this coalition needs to work in the interest of us. We must wrestle power out of this current political party, out of the APC, out of the hands of Tinubu in 2027. And then they believe that if that is what happens, whoever comes in will be better. Is it a power by grab anyhow you want to go about it? Or is it about changing Nigeria's political culture, ensuring that the dynamics that we consider to be politics in this part of the world changes? If Peter Obi believes that he represents something different, would he need to align with something that represents what the current political party stands for? How do you implement change if you do not start on a different platform? Well, these are pertinent questions, to be honest with you, that we need to consider. However, like I said, let's listen to Rotimi Amaechi give us or reel out his own perspective to what he considers Nigerians are and what he considers this administration to be. It's quite a lot, but we'll just listen briefly to some things that he said and know if indeed you agree with him.
President Tinubu in Yola, and I told him I will not walk. And I will not lose. I cannot vote for Tinubu. That is, I told him in advance. Why I'm saying this is because people in Rivers have been writing, he didn't work for PDP, he didn't work for APC, he didn't support Tinubu. I told him in advance before the election. President Tinubu in Yola, and I told him I will not walk. And I will not lose. I cannot vote for Tinubu. That is, I told him in advance. Why I'm saying this is because people in Rivers have been writing, he didn't work for PDP, he didn't work for APC, he didn't support Tinubu. I told him in advance before the election, so it wasn't a matter of whether I did or not. I made him know that because I was convinced that there was an issue of capacity. You have raised issues here. Most of those who raise the issues of capacity, some of us who are here raising issues of capacity, are also those who vote on ethnic and religious basis, or who spoil innocent, uneducated people who are poor to voting for people for the reasons of religion and ethnicity. That's why we are here. And let me tell you, it's a conspiracy of the elites. Forget, when we sit here, we look at what is the best way to go to grab power. We don't care for you. No Nigerian leader cares for you. And the reason why no Nigerian leader cares for you is because you will do nothing. You protested. At the end of the protest, the president announced increase in price of fuel because he will do nothing. It's an absolutely do-nothing society. Emma, you may not know, one of the reasons I called it was your level of knowledge. I respect people who are more brilliant than me. You, him, Professor Weaponization, that's how the friendship started. The reason, I don't know figures, so you know figures. And I respect you for the level of knowledge of economics. In fact, if you were not here and I was a president, you would have played a prominent role in the government I will serve. I don't care where you come from, for Christ's sake. It's about moving the country forward. We don't want to move the country forward. If you're not ashamed, I'm ashamed. My passport was seized in Germany. I did nothing. My offense is that I'm carrying a green passport. They kept me for nearly 30 minutes, and I was going for a medical checkup in Vienna. Show us your hotel. Listen, I should. Show us a tour ticket. I should. Wait. Just because I'm carrying a green passport. So if you're not ashamed, I am. I am. That's why I picked up this topic. And let me tell you why I picked up this topic. Nigerian leaders and elites are not the problems of Nigeria. The problems of Nigeria are the followership. The leaders, look, when people say Nigeria is a capital, there are no capitalists in Nigeria. Capitalists are those with capital to invest for production. Do we produce here? Everybody relies on oil. Everybody wants to, that's why once you become president, and you will see what will happen. As soon as you become president, you will not know Christians from Muslims. You will not. They are all coming towards you to just have a hand in the stealing. That's what happens. So I look at Nigeria and I ask myself, what are we actually doing here? Do we really want to be a country? If we want to be a country, I'll give you an example of my stay in government. I was shocked at a lady that I gave an appointment. And I thought the lady was a destabilized Nigeria. Her only call to power was going to see the president and speaking Hausa Fulani language. And I was ashamed. You as young men, I will tell you what you didn't enjoy. Growing up, we had NANS meeting in Kano. We started the meeting 12 midnight, finished at 6 a.m. It's okay. Start, SSS does not arrest us. Each person go find your way back to BUK. We had it in a private house. I missed my way in Kano, but I don't know where is BUK. I only saw somebody, a man from Kano. Where is BUK? The person took me to Kano, BUK. If it's not, they will kidnap me. Look, the ordinary northerner who is a Muslim has no problem with the ordinary southerner who is Christian. It is when it comes to election, they will tell you, so let them show you in Islam, where it says, don't say with a Christian. They cannot show you. They will only do that and say, this man is a Muslim, go for him. Now you have Muslim ticket. Let Muslim market come out now. It can't. We are all hungry. All of us are. If you're not hungry, I am. You may laugh. So for us, the opposition, if you want us to remove the man in power, we can remove him from this power. When we are students, we organized the Taisho protest against Babangida. Whatever I am today in terms of radicalism is Dr. Chidamota. Because if you read sociology of literature, it's about Marxism, it's about socialism. Yes, there are also capitalist ideas. In Nigeria, there are no capitalist ideas, there are no socialist ideas among the politicians. It's about sharing. The quarrel among the elites is about sharing. So, sir, we want to submit to the opposition if the opposition can lead us out of this problem. And for the opposition to get out of this problem, we must all agree to submit ourselves to the interest of the nation first, before the interest of ourselves. That's why I choose this topic. And I like the amendment you made. It's actually state weaponization, because it's not you. It's the state. Even though they are not deliberately weaponizing like he said. They don't have the idea. They don't know how to weaponize you. They don't know. But where the state comes in is, yes, they don't know how to weaponize you. They are weaponizing you inadvertently by stealing the money they should have given you. If I were president, yes, some of the policies they are pursuing, I will pursue them. But ask what's the failure? The failure is the gains of those policies are in their private. If they bring those gains, okay, we are paying, at the time, we are paying close to 4 to 5 trillion naira for oil subsidy. So they've stopped. Why is the 4 to 5 trillion naira? If they dump it on the economy, you will not be crying. We are hedging dollar, right? Between naira and dollar. Now you've stopped. Where is the savings? President Tinubu said it has, what's it called? Our suffering has come to an end yesterday or yesterday. Has anybody's diet changed? How many of you can buy a cup of garri at the rate? You know, the problem with Nigeria is, if you say the last president was very bad, the incoming one will be worse. When the incoming one takes over, the one before him will have become a king. We will not be wishing that person took over. Because it is a country of sharing money.
All right. So that was Rotimi Amaechi there, admitting to the kind of political culture that we have here, where he says that anytime we think that an ideal is different or an idea is different, that you realize that the following time or the next election period, whoever emerges is actually worse. But then if you realize what's ongoing based on the coalition talk, the proposed coalition ahead of the 2027 general election, which obviously the process has begun, whereby the registering of new political parties following the rejection of some certain persons from joining. Now, these political bigwigs are saying that INEC is delaying the registration of new political parties. But as it stands now, there's a development following reports that prominent opposition leaders, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi, and former Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai, may adopt the ADC as a common platform to challenge the incumbent government. But the question is, what possibility is there? An APC chieftain has said that all this coalition talk is a waste of time. They should not bother wasting their money. Tinubu till 2031. They should try and navigate and surround the president in ensuring that his policy agenda works. That is, tuning in into the renewed hope agenda. But the big question right here is, how do Nigerians feel about this? For example, for Peter Obi to have gotten the votes he got in the last time in 2023, it wasn't just the southeastern votes. It was a collection of all major tribes who wanted something different. Another question that we're going to contend with is the 2023 general elections, for example. Was it an election where that it was about Peter Obi, or it was about change, anything to unseat the government of the day? And that was where Peter Obi came in, because that's something that a lot of people are not realizing or understanding. People are asking the question, was 2023's election, specifically the Labour Party and Peter Obi, was it about a Peter Obi factor? Was it the fact that Nigerians said, you know what, we no longer want this continued culture of impunity. It is my turn, sharing of money, lackadaisical, nonchalant attitude, not representing the people, not representing their interests. We want a different dynamic. Was it it? How come it has become personalized, targeting certain persons, targeting their family? Again, these are the big questions. But Peter Obi himself has come out to say that, you know what, I will not in any form, in whatever, join or become a vice president to any form of coalition plot. For example, this is how it stands. Following the candidates, the former presidential candidate in 2023, he made his stance known on the ongoing build-up to a measure coalition that is expected to obtain the present Nigerian ruling party. Obi made his intentions known as Nigeria's party political scene maneuverings continue to heat up ahead of 2027. He has been reported to emphasize that he will not accept a vice presidential slot in any opposition alliance. His condition is simple. He must lay the ticket or he's out. The icon of the Obedience youthful political dimension stance comes amidst ongoing talks to form a formidable coalition led by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. The alliance is drawing heavyweights like Lasil El-Rufai, Babachir Lawal, Rotimi Amaechi, Abubakar Malami, and former Kogi State Governor Idris Wada. Together, they aim to create a united front strong enough to challenge the ruling All Progressives Congress in the next general elections. At a high-level meeting in Abuja under the National Political Consultative Group, the coalition gained traction with negotiations already underway to adopt the African Democratic Congress as its official platform. So questions now arose and said, why can't Atiku Abubakar or all these big statesmen rally around Peter Obi? That's one question they ask. Second, they say, is Atiku's intention really for the interest of Nigerians or is born out of selfish interest? Remember, it is his right to express his intent to run. He believes that he has the capacity to lead this country. But others feel like from time immemorial, Atiku has been at the forefront of elections. For example, they feel that it is when elections are closed, you see him out. They don't think he has galvanized. They don't think he has done any mobilization. They don't think maybe he has done any impact. Others feel that he ruined the party, the PDP, in the last election because he didn't supposedly kowtow to the agreement and that he left the party in disarray. Rather than resolving what is going on within the party, he has been in Dubai all this while and now he knows that the political party would not give him the ticket for 2027, so he wants to join another political party, cause an imbroglio there, maybe become the presidential flag bearer and who knows what. So they're now asking, why can't it be a Peter Obi? Why can't he sacrifice for someone else? They feel his intention is obsessive and not for the general interest of Nigerians as a couple of persons think. Others are now saying, you know what? The Northerners always think that it has to be them. Why must it always be them? That all these years they have ruled and nothing has changed. But Rotimi Amaechi is coming from a perspective of our political culture. Must it be my turn? Must it be the North, the South, the East? Must it be Islam, Muslim, or Christian ticket? Why can't it be about the capacity, efficiency, a change in the political dynamism on how elections and political permutations are done in this part of the world, where you have someone that has the efficient capacity to rule? And then, obviously, Nigerians and their supposed gullibility of not understanding that they're being used or as tools, as the whims and caprices of these politicians. We'll be weighing in a couple of some of these things and looking at some remarks made in time past by Rotimi Amaechi, what he said about Peter Obi's inability or what he intends to bring on the table and how come he intends to form a coalition along with him. What is his interest? Is he also interested in running for the presidency? Others believe that this coalition is a means through which they invite Peter Obi. He leaves the Labour Party. They conduct a primary. Remember how the primary goes. The primary goes is it is who has the money and ability to convince, and then you win the ticket. So what if there is an agreement? Peter Obi doesn't win the ticket, and then he's left in the wind. So he has left the Labour Party, the coalition. He's not the presidential flag bearer. His political ambition for 2027 is gone, and as it stands, he cannot join any other political party. Others are saying, you know what, let's do anything possible to unseat this government. Why can't he be the vice president to Atiku Abubakar? That way, if you look at what happened in 2023, what Atiku got, what Peter Obi got, if that is meshed together, there's a strong possibility that they will unseat this particular dispensation. But then, if Peter Obi represents something that is supposed to be different from how the political culture in Nigeria has been, why would Peter Obi settle for that? Why will he want to adopt the grab it, snatch it, and run away with it that this administration believes in? Some people feel that if Peter Obi decides to run as a vice, they rather continue with Tinubu's ambition for 2027 up until 2031. Again, what are the dynamics at play here? In the midst of insecurity, in the midst of the stifling economy, in the midst of not knowing what tomorrow would be like? These are the questions. My guest today, actually in the studio right here with me, is Barrister Evans Ufeli, who is a political, national and social affairs commentator. Barrister Evans, good evening and thank you for coming on the Political Spotlight today.
Yeah, good evening, Esther. Good evening, Nigerians.
How are you, sir?
Well, thank you.
Happy Sunday.
Same to you.
Happy New Month.
Thank you.
I also have Mr. Lawal Ekundare also right here in the studio. He's a social affairs commentator. Mr. Lawal Ekundare, good evening and thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Barrister Evans Ufeli, what do you think with what Rotimi Amaechi said and this whole coalition agenda and Peter Obi being the bride that everyone is talking about and looking up to?
Well, the only reason The only reason why Tinubu may return is because of the ambitions of politicians. Nobody is collectively thinking about Nigeria. They are majorly thinking about themselves and how they can become presidents, all of them.
All of them.
Not necessarily how to unseat the president. Now, they may be saying their goal, their objective is to unseat the president, but their strategy, is counterproductive. It's saying a different thing entirely. Because if you are going to unseat the president, you know you need to build capacity. You know you need a formidable opposition, then you're able to do that. The PDP ordinarily would have had that capacity, but as long as political harlotry does not come with consequences in Nigeria, they will keep defecting. Look at Delta State, for example. It's supposed to be the backbone of PDP, foundational member of PDP. Look at Wike. Look at Wike's political prostitution. One leg in another party, one leg in his party. Now, the PDP does not have the nucleus of discipline because its members are working at cross purpose with the party. They call it anti-party, whatever it is, anti-party activities. Now, in the past, these anti-party activities are highly punished.
Yes.
Where you take the secret of your political party, you go sell it to the opposition. The opposition will rely on it to defeat your political party. And as long as PDP is not able to punish its members, as long as it has lost the grip for which it requires to do a comeback, it would have succeeded if it had the capacity to bring people together. Rather, it has governors who have put their hands in the cookie jar, who are scared of EFCC, who do not want anything wrong to happen. They want to come back. First, they want to retain their seat. Second, they don't want to go to jail. So they are not looking at the president as someone they can rely on to save them of that stress. Not necessarily because they want their people to move forward. So you see that the problems in PDP are multifaceted. It's coming from fear of going to jail because most of the governors are thieves. And the fact that PDP does not have a nucleus of discipline, a rallying point, that's it. And three, as long as political harlotry does not come with consequences, there's no ideology. When you pull from your political party to another political party overnight, what are you saying? Are you saying you have abandoned the previous ideology of your political party and you've embraced another one overnight? And Nigeria is supposed to move forward. Rotimi Amaechi said it, that Nigeria is about sharing. Everybody wants to share. That he has said it on several occasions that the elites, they don't care about you. So you see this one that the people, the voters and the electorates, they do. They go about praising politicians, hailing them, supporting them, and at the end of the day, first, the article we're talking about does not live in Nigeria. This is somebody that wants to liberate Nigeria. Is the highest importer of generator in Nigeria as we speak. This is the person that will liberate Nigeria when he becomes president. So these people are just deceiving themselves. And then Rotimi Amaechi said the followers. The problem of Nigeria is the followers. And I agree with him. I agree with him because when we set out to protest, the reason for which we go out to protest, the government never backs down. It goes ahead to implement wrong policies. And then we don't do anything about it. So they know that the masses are weak. Not only are they hungry, they are weak mentally. They cannot stay with a cause, By the time you talk about, let's even organize ourselves and protest, let government know that we're dissatisfied, you will see people who will gather themselves and go and negotiate with government to form an anti-protest activity to counter the protests. You always see that.
Which dissolves the effects.
Then they will collect gratification for it. So when you have a very hungry society, a very dishonest citizenry, very dishonest citizen, you know that as long as the politicians are deceptive, and then the citizens are dishonest, you have a balanced equation. In economics, we call it equilibrium. The characters of both ends are the same. So things will remain the same. Until we change our attitude and begin to see Nigeria as a force to reckon with. Nothing will change. And Rotimi Amaechi talked about how he was delayed in Germany.
Okay.
Yes, I was also
Because of his green passport.
I was delayed in Turkey. In fact, I was kept in a silo for like 4 hours.
What?
Do you understand? So
Why? Because of your green
I have
passport.
a green passport. So they were searching me as if. In fact, one of them told me that what is in my stomach.
No, this is not funny.
You see, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
He asked you what is in your stomach.
Yes, and I warned him. I told him clearly that I'm an international lawyer, and I can deal with him as we're talking now. I can put him under serious problem. Then he stopped making jest of me because you have to let people know. So we're all embarrassed when we move around just because of the kind of attitude, the kind of persons, the kind of things we have chunked out. The world is looking at us. But if you see, we only need 15 years, consistent 15 years of doing the right thing to bounce back. There's
Consistent 15 years of doing the right thing to bounce back.
Yes.
Because even internationally, we're not perceived that way.
That's what I'm saying.
From the structure of leadership as well.
Already the world is wowed by our talents. Okay? I mean, with all this problem we have. If you go to the US, for example.
Yes.
It's just anywhere you have a school in the US, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4 university or 5, 6, 3, that's the name of the university. You will see Nigerians. The Nigerians will populate the place.
And they'll be exceptional.
Yes. And they are, when it comes to grades, degree, they are about the highest in the world. Okay? When it comes to talent in music, in film, music, in all spheres of life.
Even IT right now.
Yes, the best investment bankers in the world are Nigerian lawyers. Okay, so we have all that. But what we need to do is to build capacity at home. Okay, to redefine who we are.
All right.
To stop all these negative things we throw out there. So, and how do we do that? The citizen must be in concert with leadership.
Exactly.
To redefine Nigeria. Okay, not this kind of thing. Article cannot move Nigeria anywhere. That's the truth. You see the like of Nasir El-Rufai. Article, even I'm the Amaechi speaking. Okay. Cannot move Nigeria an inch.
In fact, in that regard, let me play you what Amaechi said, I think, sometime in 2022 about Peter Obi. And that is why when Peter Obi actually gave him a birthday message, some people were not happy with that. They said, does Peter Obi even know the person he's wishing a happy birthday to? Okay, so let's look at this.
I listened to the vice presidential candidate of PDP talk here the last time. Yes, it was. Well, you know, one thing I tell the president is that almost everybody here we are pairs. We know each other. We know each other very well. We know each other very well. In fact, my response to the person who asked me about him was as simple. What is Peter bringing to the table? That he saves some money in his state. So you save money when there are no roads, there are no schools, there are no hospitals. You save money.
No, he said he built schools. He said he rehabilitated roads.
Why not you try to go to Anambra now? You see, Wike says I didn't do anything. But when you go, you will see Port Harcourt to where the road. It was built by me. It's a federal government road. I didn't wait for everybody to come.
In this case, maybe his successor did not sustain the momentum.
The same. My successor is not able to sustain the momentum. But you will see the schools that I built, not rehabilitate, brand new schools. You will see the health centers. So we cannot continue. The PDP does not offer us an alternative. They are not. I tell you what, I said one good thing about the campaign is that there is no opposition party.
Okay, so that was Rotimi Amaechi right there in that interview way back in 2022, where he felt that Peter Obi did not really do anything as an Anambra State governor, that while he was the governor of Rivers State, he did not rehabilitate, he built new schools, and even what's his name, Wike, all right, who was making jest of what his administration was. He said the federal road that he was responsible for it. So how come your ideology then about this particular individual has changed? How do we know that if a Peter Obi decides to form a coalition with you or joins your midst, that you will not rip him off?
Well, there's no trust between these politicians. That's the truth. What they have is ambition. Okay? And you see any coalition where you are putting Tinubu, is where you are putting Atiku to lead a coalition so that it can become presidential candidate, is going to be a failed one. You can never compare Atiku with Tinubu. Never.
Why?
Tinubu is far, far far better. Than Atiku cannot see. There's something people don't know about Atiku. He just wants to become president. Every other thing will be an afterthought. That's the truth. Atiku can perform less than Buhari.
Why? What's that thing about Atiku that a lot of people do not like? There's something about trust. People don't trust him. Why?
He's politically self-centered. At his age, every coalition he wants to be the person, the flag bearer. Why should you do that? If truly he believes in Nigeria, he would have come as a statesman. Okay, bring people together, get a younger person that is sellable, support him to unseat whoever you want to unseat. That's if you can. Because I don't see them with this thing they are doing unseating Tinubu.
With all this, whatever.
Because Tinubu's politics is mystical. During the,
are you sure you're not giving him too much? You're not embellishing.
I'm just telling you. I'm not a supporter. I don't support. I'm not a fan of his.
All right.
But I'm telling you what he can do politically. As an analyst, I'm supposed to do my analysis from the point of knowledge. When his political party at the 2023 they're busy, they're trying to get delegates. You understand, to unseat him. He was buying candidates. He was buying them off, and they were relinquishing their ambition with their followers and supporting him. You understand me? So this is a man that plays the kind of, and that is what he understands. That's why he cannot lead proper. Because what you understand is politics, not governance. Not governance. If you look at his first 2 years, it's been politics all the way.
Politics all the way.
Tinubu is the only president that after 2 years of wrong policies, after 2 years of hunger, starvation, cost of living, after 2 years, almost the entire country are endorsing him for a second term, including on Zendigbo.
I'm telling you.
If it's not politics, what do you call that? Even
the opposition political parties are endorsing him.
His own is not governance. What he understands is politics. You can't beat him to that game.
And he knows it well, yeah?
That's what I'm saying. So, if you are going to unseat him politically, you must get your ass together. You see, this one they are doing, they are using their ambition to put, until you, they are just joking. This is about a joke. From what I see, Atiku will lead the coalition. Atiku will be the flag and all that. You can't compare. I do not think that Atiku have the political stamina that Tinubu possesses. I do not think so.
So, in other words, the obedience who feel that Peter Obi shouldn't be advised to Atiku, that rather let Tinubu continue.
Obi was wise enough to. He has done it before now.
Yes, he has. But at that time, the obedient movement wasn't there. It wasn't the kind of mobilization and recognition at the time. Then he had it in 2023, but in 2019 he did not have it.
You see, Peter Obi's redemption is not going to be tied by the obedient movement. The obedient movement is a limited class. He needs more than that to win an election. He needs more than that. Because the truth is this. If you win election in Nigeria, you must look at the Northwest. It's the only angle that have 7 states. And they vote in a block. If you look at it from way back, they vote in a block. Okay. If they choose you, they've chosen you. And they cannot choose you, you lose. And that is where Peter Obi have failed to broker his political strength.
Okay.
You understand? If he can get that, the Northwest is amenable. The Northeast rather is amenable. You can get as much as.
Well, why do you think he's not been able to break through there?
That?
Why do you think he's not been able to break through in the Northwest? Because we've been seeing him
Northwest, a lot of things are involved. First is the core Muslim core, because you see the Northeast, Taraba and the Adama, they are about 40, 60 Christian Muslims. That religion play a role. The politics itself, ethnicity itself play a role. Okay. Then before we talk about the general propensity of political engagement, which he needs to do, you know. But you see this, the reason Tinubu did that coalition with Buhari was because of the Northwest. Consistently, Buhari was hitting the target. CPC then was taking the entire
Northwest.
Yes.
And Tinubu saw that.
Yes. Because if you have that with anybody, you can negotiate any other place. And that is what he did.
And he did it well.
Yes.
He understood the mapping.
Yes, and unseat Jonathan. Okay, so you have to play that politics.
Another thing he did then too was to realize the attention that Buhari had. He didn't put his interest then.
Very
he didn't
well.
put his interest then. We met him and said, you know what, we can do it like this. But at the end of the day, the next time has to be me. So that is something this crop of coalition members are lacking. Who needs to stay behind or galvanize for somebody? Do you understand what I'm saying? Mobilize for whoever it is, rather than each of them wanting to be part of it.
Atiku is telling Obi that he's going to do only 4 years. Atiku
Yes.
cannot relinquish power to anybody.
What if he has changed?
No, I don't. Atiku is not. See, what Nigeria need to move forward is not the likes of Atiku at all.
Okay, any one of them coming out to establish their interest right now, are we saying any one of them out is not who Nigeria needs? Somebody that
No, I'm not
is
saying
credible
anyone.
enough?
No, I'm not saying anyone. I mean,
I'm just saying.
opposition should exist now. They should. The reason you have opposition is to try to unseat incumbents.
Okay.
They should exist, but they have to do it right. They have to give Nigerians and the electorate a reason that is credible.
Enough.
Because the truth is that you see this coalition and opposition, they are doing all this one without concrete strategy
Yes.
of what they will do if they succeed. They might turn to be worse than the problem we already have.
Like what happened with the APC the first term, when they just wanted to succeed, and when they got into power, it's like they didn't know what to do with what they had gotten.
Yeah, they said it was Jonathan, the former government.
Yeah,
for
they
4
kept
years.
blaming him for what was going on. They didn't know they would get it, and so they were disorganized. It took them 6 months to have a cabinet. It took them 6 months to be organized. It took them 6 months to even draft a budget. I remember vividly at the time. Things were too slow. But I think Nigerians were hopeful that the president then, with Buhari, yes, his Baba goes slow, but that they would get there. Unfortunately, it got worse. Mr. Lawal Kundari, let me ask you this pertinent question. The 2023 elections, the obedient movement, the galvanization, the support, the recognition that Peter Obi got, was it about Peter Obi at the time? Or was it that the youthful demography decided to change the political culture, the political dimension as it used to be? That's what I want to understand, because at this point in time, certain persons are making it seem like it's a Peterobi against the FG and the people. So you see personal attacks on his person. You're not seeing attacks on certain other persons who have actually expressed their interest. There's a deliberate method to undermine his personality, undermine his credibility. This is not a Peter Obi campaign thing, but he's on the lips of everything concerning this coalition, whatever. So if you can take your mind back to 2023 and the emergence of a Peter Obi, was it a Peter Obi factor? It was something else that was a factor, but that Peter Obi just happened to be the beam at the time.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
I hope I needed some time to really clarify some things.
Okay.
But I've been listening to your discussions since, and I've been patient. Now, the last election, 2023,
Yes.
it was about people believing in somebody's ideology.
Okay.
You get it? Somebody's antecedent and somebody's quality.
Okay.
That was why Obi emerged that level. He got to that level. It wasn't about his power or might. It was about his belief and what Nigerians believe in. And they went for him. That was why before he came into Labour was, almost to the ground. But when he came into Labour came up. Not because of Labour or because of the name of Peter Obi, but because of his ideology,
Okay.
his antecedent. That was why people voted for him.
Okay.
That's why he came to that level. That is one. And he still has more. You get it? More are rallying around him now. More are rallying around Peter Obi. He's going to get more votes. I am telling you. But wait, he's going to. I'm going somewhere.
I just want you to help me understand how that 2023, how Peter Obi became a factor in 2023.
That's what I'm saying. I've analyzed
Okay.
that. Because of his antecedents.
Okay.
Two, because of his ideology.
What if there was another person along, maybe like, let's just say Iyemi or Shibajo,
No,
but not with the APC?
See,
Wouldn't he have been the kind of wouldn't he have gotten the kind of galvanization that Peter Obi got?
He won't. We won't, because he has dined with the devil. that will weaken, his political.
The devil is APC.
Yes, he has died with the devil. So he's going to weaken his popularity. It's easy to use that against him because I don't see him, you guys, really making any much difference from what Tinubu is doing now, because it's part of the whole thing, and he will never probe the past government.
Okay.
You get? He won't do that. So put that one aside. Now, that will be different with Obi. So now people are looking at him more, even across the nation. He's going to get more votes, but he may not win.
Why do you think he may not win?
Because he doesn't have that political might to face the incumbent. You get it? He has the support, but he doesn't have the might, the political might. So they will use that against him, and he might fail. If he goes alone, he might fail. They will use it against him. You know why? All this, manipulation, rigging, and everything. They can play it against him, and he will say he has won and everything, but he will still not get it. That is why he needs somebody. You get it? Who has that political might that can match the might of the political might of the incumbent that we have now, before he can actually have that he can actually have his number. And that is why I keep saying that his best bet for his political future is Atiku.
Okay.
People are saying Atiku said this and that. I had somebody, I was having a discussion with somebody. He was saying a lot of things about Atiku. Atiku said this and that, Atiku that and this. And I asked him, I said, can you tell me one thing that this man did wrong, that you are saying all this thing against him? The man couldn't bring out one single thing. At a point, he mentioned the generator. I'm sorry, this electric generator, Mikano. But I told him that, I said, before Mikano came, other generators have been existing. We have Leventis, we have so many big ones, we have Caslat. You get it? They've been raining. We've been using generator even before this man came into generator business. So why do you take it against him? As if he's there. And so many of these people are in politics too. So why did they, and no other thing came up against? And I said something. I said, everything that Obasanjo achieved during his time, he achieved it with Atiku, because that was his vice. And it was never against him.
You're coming on the fact that regardless, Atiku, it doesn't matter if Atiku is the president and Peter Obi is the vice. That's the angle you're coming from. The idea is just to unseat the president.
See, don't use that word.
Okay.
It's not to unseat the president.
It's to do what then?
The two of them, listen, the two of them, you understand, it's not to unseat the president only.
Do you think Atiku has the ideology to change the political terrain of this country?
Yes.
What makes you believe so?
Good, I'll tell you.
Okay.
One, I said one thing. I said every achievement of Obasanjo within his 80 years is the same achievement of Atiku, because both of them run for 80 years. Do you remember that?
Atiku was not his vice for 8 years. At some point, they had issues.
No.
Atiku was his vice for 8 years.
For the whole 8 years?
Yes.
Despite all the quarrels they had.
What quarrel?
Vice now. So who else took over from?
Yeah, what quarrel?
Continue then.
So, one, you get it. And if you see what they achieved then, they were able to contain this and that. They did a lot of things here. That's why I said, whatever he achieved, whatever Obasanjo achieved, is the same thing that Atiku achieved.
But don't you think that as Atiku, they call Atiku a serial campaigner or a contestant for presidential elections in this country? People feel that by 2027, Atiku will be 81 years old, that he'll be old. If Nigeria wants to change its political culture, why don't we use persons who are still, in their 50s or 60s? They're still young, they're still capable. You can't keep recycling the same crop of politicians. They feel that at this stage in Atiku's career or his life, nobody is saying he doesn't have a right to campaign, but if he indeed has the interests of Nigerians, if he's been trying all this while, that he would support someone else. The someone else, we don't know who, but any other person he can support, use his weight, use his connections, whatever money it is, and then maybe you can now say, you know what, when you eventually get there, I would require you to please put in place certain persons. They have the quality, they have the might, they can support you. They're asking, why can't he mobilize and be a supporter supporter, a foundational supporter, must he be the president? It's that obsession that people are afraid of.
Let me answer that question.
This ability to just want to be the president regardless of anything.
Let me answer that question. I will answer it in two ways. One, there are many presidents in the world that have, tried it many times before they got it. One. And second, Nigeria is not, even you talk about America, you talk about so many of them. I'm not going to go into that because of time. Okay. Now, the second one is Nigeria is not a normal system. Right. We are not running a normal system in Nigeria. We should say, okay, this person, we know he has popularity. Because of his popularity, people vote for him and we have a normal result. Somebody coming out to announce the normal result, normal election. We don't have that. We want to put it right. You understand? So everybody, you get it. All hands must be on deck. Whether you are old, whether you are young, whether you are youth, whether you are a woman, whether you are female or male. What we want now is to put things right for the youth to come in. Okay. But now, at this junction, the youth cannot come because Nigeria is not running a normal system. We are not running a normal political system. You understand? It's full of rigging, distrust. You get all these things. So we need all hands on deck. Whether old, whether young, all of you have to mass together to be able to claim power and be able to put us on the right path. You get it? We don't operate a normal system. If you are talking about Britain, you are talking about Germany, you are talking about America or Canada, we can say, okay, even somebody of 18 years can become president, like Macron, 20 something. What was his age? You get it? And it's going like you don't do that. How much was it? How much was the APC ticket last time? 500 million, was it?
Yeah.
500 million. Which youth will be able to afford that, for God's sake? What about the labor? 100 million. Am I getting it right?
All right.
Look at all these things. So we are not running a normal system. Because we are not running a normal system, we need all hands on deck to be able to fix it right. That's why I said, don't look at the age now. So you think
the combo of Atiku and Peterobi will fix it right?
Yes, I have hope.
You're very certain that he has what it takes to fix it right. So with all the weight and might that Peterobi got in 2023, with all the, do you know the number,
that's why we have 20. We have 12. Listen to me. We have 12. Do you remember when Mahmoud was? Do you remember that day? Excuse me, Esther.
Do you think the support that Peterobi got in 2023 was organic, or you don't think it was organized?
See, that's why I told you that at this junction, you get it. He has more numbers than before.
You're very
yes, I am telling you. In fact, Atiku Obi has more number than before. You see the likes of El Rufai. Look at the likes of El Rufai, who has campaigned very well for Tinubu in 2023, moving against him to the other side. There are some certain numbers that will go along with him. We have so many of them moving along. You get it? So the guy is going to get numbers, but he doesn't have that political might. You get it? He doesn't have that calculation, political mathematics to be able to unseat this one that is there now. You get that is the problem we have. It's not about the number. You get it? It's about the statistics, the mathematics that is on ground to do it. You get, and that person that has that strong might, you get it. That mathematics is Atiku. He can face. He has that might, that political might to face the incumbents.
Atiku Abubakar, where he made a certain speech about the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 2 years.
Particular government is weaponizing poverty. You may call me a conspirator, you may call me anything, and that is why we are in this alliance, to make sure we don't allow them to continue weaponizing policy. Of course, one of our star conspirators is Governor Rotimi Amaechi. Therefore, we are here to wish you many happy returns of the day, and we will continue to conspire with you to make sure we minimize poverty and we don't use state machinery to weaponize poverty. I thank you very much. God bless.
All right. Barrister Evans Efeli, do you think that the administration is weaponizing poverty to gather momentum? You think that's like what Atiku is saying? Is that what it is?
Well, it may not be directly what it is, but the policy of the government appears so. Because if you look at it, the government have not really addressed survival. It has not really addressed poverty. In its real sense, we see how countries address poverty. China, for example, they will tell you how many persons they are pulling out of poverty in 1 year. They will give you statistics of that and all that. They will give you all the figures and how they will do it practically. This government have not necessarily done so. They may have one or two social intervention programs here and there. Most times it's targeted at their followers. Okay. The lawmakers will have constituency projects here and there, but it's targeted at their followers. Women leader, men leader, political, whatever it is. You see, in my intervention, I didn't say Atiku cannot win the election. Do you understand? I'm talking about governance. That he cannot, because he may have the might, because if you look at it,
during his 2023 campaign, he worked on, I think a lot of persons supported him based on restructuring.
Restructuring. Peter Obi and Atiku in the last election, if you put their votes together, Tinubu wouldn't have gotten it.
Yes.
Okay. So that in a way, you could say that with that combo, they can win an election. Okay. But governance is a different thing entirely. I do not see Atiku with capacity to govern. Okay, Atiku falls below Tinubu in governance, even though Tinubu has his own politics. Politics all the way. And you see, even when you have the support in Nigeria, you can still lose the election. Go to court and still lose it.
Like what happened in 2023?
Yeah, because when you have compromise here and there, and if you are played out of the game of politics, like Peterobi was played out of the game of politics in the last one, you can still lose with all the support. You can win the president's polling unit and still not become the president of Nigeria. It happened already. The president can lose Abuja, his own primary constituency, and you still not be the president of the country. Because, you see, the institutions are not sanitized.
Interesting.
The institutions are not healthy. When we compare our democracy to democracies in first world countries, I keep laughing because we don't have the institutional will. Okay, look at what happened in Abia State.
Exactly.
Just because of one woman who stood her ground, who said, you know what? This institution must deliver on merit, even if I have to lose my soul.
Because she said she was threatened.
Okay, look at the turnaround in Abia. So if we have such institutions or such persons duplicated across the country, and they're able to work in cohesion and ask that no matter what, let's have.
In other words, the institutions, the vital institutions you're referring to here is INEC and the judiciary.
INEC, the judiciary, and other sub-institutions.
No, I mean, when it comes to elections, those are basically the institutions that determine. In fact, we are not even supposed to allow the court to determine what or the outcome of the elections eventually.
Yes, the judiciary and INEC. The electoral system must have reforms. Because the truth is that what they do is that they allow INEC to mismanage the election. Then all of them will now come back and say, all eyes on the judiciary. And I keep telling them that the judiciary cannot fix Nigeria. The judiciary cannot fix Nigeria because judiciary is where you go to seek redress when a problem has occurred.
True.
And in the process of seeking that redress, the court is not interested in your story. The court is not interested in your sentiments or your moral intuition. The court is only interested in the evidence before it. You understand? So Peter Obi could not pull through. He didn't even have the evidence to even muster anything in court. You understand? So you can't get it that way. So if we're talking democracy and we're talking progress, forward movement, we should be talking about the workability of the institutions that can deliver on democracy. That's where we start from.
Workability of institutions
Yeah.
that can deliver on
Yes,
democracy.
that can deliver, not institutions that are compromised. These institutions, when they are compromised, no matter what you say or do, no matter, you see, the person who is able to play the cheat card will go home with victory. Okay? And even when you go to court to contest it, they will bring evidence to establish that he actually won that election of merit. Okay? And the court will have no other choice but admit the evidence before it. Nigerians want the court to admit their sentiments. The court is not a church. Okay? It will do according to what is before it. And that is what we must understand. So if we want a change of the political system and the process, let's work on our institutions. Let's ask for institutional reforms.
Okay.
And these reforms must be entrenched. We must be able to test them, put them in perspective, and see how they deliver. Okay? If you have institutions that can back off midway during election, can take instruction from INEC in the last election, had a technical glitch. Okay?
An interesting glitch.
Yes.
Up till
That glitch,
today,
that-
it's
that's-
not been better
it did.
I
explained.
laugh in Spanish.
Till date, that glitch have not been properly. Nobody can even tell us exactly what happened except INEC itself. Okay, even the Amazon and the rest of them say, but the thing was. They say no, it's a glitch. Yeah, you just turn the whole thing, turn the table around, and at the end of the day, you see, politics everywhere in the world includes cheating is involved. Even in America,
Oh,
there's cheating. Yes, yeah, there is. It's not just rigging, playing smart. Okay, because politicians all over the world are the same. It's just that in first world countries, they have strong institutions that cannot make them, throw caution to the... And we saw this during the Trump first coming, when people were climbing the Capitol.
exactly. That was one of the reasons they were trying him.
Yeah, all of them. In fact, they convicted...
Something that has never happened before.
They convicted about almost, all of them. That has never happened before. But you see, that is United States.
That was historic. That was also a historical
That
moment
is
for
United
him.
States. You understand? There was also some allegations of vote buying.
Exactly.
It took place.
It took place.
It happened.
It was salient.
So
there.
when we start to condemn Nigeria, we should stop it, because we have irregularities everywhere in the world. Okay?
It's not perfect.
It's
as
not
we think.
perfect. Even the court will tell you that what the court want to address is substantial non-compliance. Not that there will be no non-compliance. There will be non-compliance. But whether the substantial non-compliance affect the outcome, that is what the court want to address. You can't have a perfect political system. Okay? It's not a queue line up for those who are going to heaven or hell, where the Almighty is going to dispense justice based on your stewardship. That's not what politics is. It's a different thing entirely.
All right.
Your stewardship can be dirty and
Now
you
let
become
me
the
ask
president.
you, Barrister Evans Sofili, what do you think a Peterobi should do? Remember, it's not about Peterobi. The thing is, everyone is talking about him, including the current administration. You've had an Akpabio speak about Peterobi at the Harrow Chambers, call him out. Reno mockery every day. That is his assignment. Tarnish, dabble, mud, whatever it is you can do to bring him down. You have government aides, some will have written against him. You have aides working for the current administration, tweeting, writing, talking about him. Felix Smoker, Bayo Nanuga, they've even turned it to an ethnic thing. It's terrible, it's dangerous, it has polarized the polity, polarized Nigeria's unity that had taken years for us to come together and embrace. It has become more thinner, more frail. So the 2023 elections, a lot actually happened.
No, whatever they are doing to Peter Obi as a politician applies to every politician.
You think so?
Yes, that's the truth. There's
But
nothing.
it's not personal.
There's no.
It's not personal.
No, there's no.
Okay.
You see, to lead Nigeria or to come out to say you want to be the president of Nigeria does not matter your tribe.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter your tribe.
Are you sure?
They will watch you. Look at Chris Okotie. Where did you follow politics during Chris Okotie's
Time.
when he said God told him?
Yeah.
People didn't care whether he was called of God or not. They came against him. It's part of the price you have to pay Why are we trying to bait Peterobi, napping him, and then put him so that he will not be vilified?
Okay.
He will be vilified.
So it's normal.
The Tinubu that is the president today, did you see the opposition that went from his Chicago resort
Up till
he didn't go to school, so he didn't do
up
this.
till now, sir.
Up till now. Today. So you cannot be the president or even vie for political position without scandals.
All right.
Because if you have none, people will go and dig up one. What's his name? Former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dimeji Bankole. They went.
Then the youngest Speaker of the House of
Representatives. Yeah, they went and dug up. He said that he didn't serve. He didn't do NYC. That he shouldn't be a public servant.
Do you think he can apply now again?
What saved him was a photograph they took on their the 3 weeks orientation that he presented. That saved him. If that photograph were not, some people would have, because the lies, when it's told repeatedly, it becomes
the truth.
Especially when there's no alternative
to
evidence
counter it.
To counter it. You understand? It was almost becoming the truth. And he was going to lose his seat. You understand? So I do not know why Peter Obi should be a bride.
Okay.
That we should not allow stone to touch. And he wants to be Nigerian president. Why? Just to contest as the chairman of an estate CDA. You know that people do juju.
Yeah, not true.
People carry sacrifice. And they'll put it at your door and pour oil there. I'm telling you. So, you see, you want to lead. You think they'll just, even Jesus told his disciples, he said they should carry their cross and follow him. Do you understand?
All right.
So, in all manner of scandals with tribulation trials, he even told them that you will have trials. And he even went as far as telling them that in this world you have troubles. You understand? He said, but I have overcome the world. It's not about you want to lead who without scandal, without stress, except it's not human.
So it's expected.
Even when you lead animals, Jones was thrown out of the animal farm, okay, by the pigs and all the boxers and Clover, all of them came together, snowball, had the meeting, discuss about the failure of man, how they would pull man out of leadership and everything. True. They had a song, Beast of England. They sang that song. Old Major died that night. The following day, 2 days after, they sent Jones packing. Animals conspiring. I mean, this is actually an allegory.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to say, in effect, is that you cannot lead without opposition and people who don't want you to go there, no matter what it is. Interesting.
Let's listen to Godswill Akpabio when he was speaking during the commemoration of the 30-kilometer Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, and he made a statement there. If I play this, I want you to please help me interpret what he meant.
Those of them who are on their second terms, do not give power to anybody who is not looking for power. Don't give power to anybody who is not prepared. Don't go hiding in your heart that this boy is very subservient. He's always kneeling down when he's talking to me. The wife is always rolling on the floor. I think I should make this one the governor. If you do that, you are giving power to somebody who is not prepared for governance, and they will disappoint you. That is where betrayals normally start. I'm just trying to advise. For the progressive governors, I believe that all of you are doing well because you are being led by a man who has both sight and vision. I was in Ogun State, Mr. President, to close the National Sports Festival, and I must salute the efforts of the building.
All right, so Barrister Evans Sufeli, who do you think Akpabio was referring to here?
He was talking to governors.
Oh, really? Second-term governors?
Yeah, they shouldn't.
Okay.
They shouldn't give. I mean, it's quite. What he said is instructive, really.
Okay.
Even though he's not a man that should advise.
Wait, now, what do you mean by instructive?
It is instructive, really, because you see, when people are serving you,
okay,
or it looks like they are very subservient, and they are very respectful, it does not translate in any way to mean that they will be competent leaders if you leave them with power. You understand? It does not mean so that they will be competent leaders. That's what he's trying to say.
Are you sure?
That's what I think he's trying to say.
Okay.
Because if you follow that lead, some of them might be sycophants. Some of them may do eye service. You're not able to decode it. the wife is rolling on the floor, the husband is kneeling down. And then all those ones may just be a fluke. And if you need to look beyond, a leader should see beyond all that. That's what he's saying.
Okay.
And that's why I find it instructive. That may not be exactly what he meant. Okay, because it was T.S. Eliot that said that in prose writing, that an author cannot see the end of a character he has created.
Okay.
Just like in Things Fall Apart, Unoka was painted to be lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's Okonkwo's father. And Okonkwo had problem with him because he's seen as, he only blows the flute and all that. But when
he expected more from him.
Yeah, but when you go deeper into Unoka's life, you will see the positive contribution he made in the plot and in the story and in humanity in general. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is that Akpabio may be saying that not necessarily to mean the same thing I'm talking about, but I think it is instructive.
Okay.
Because whatever it is you are doing,
all right,
okay, might just be eye service. You cannot trust.
Mr. Lawal Ekunda, what do you think Akpabio was referring to? What do you think, or who do you think he was talking about? And what do you read in that statement he just said?
He's just praising his members. That's what he's saying. That's why I said those of you who are going for second time. It's just
not going for second term governors. Mm-hmm. After second term, you're not going to be a governor again. From what I can interpret from what he said, once you're a second term governor, you're obviously not coming back. So you need to pick somebody. But in as much as you're going to pick someone, the fact that somebody is subservient, kneeling down to you, does not necessarily mean that the person will be loyal to you.
He's talking about Wike and
Fubara. Exactly. That's where I was coming. That was where I was.
I didn't want to mention.
Do you know why I believe that?
I didn't want to mention that because you had Peter Obi and Obiano, you had many of them. So it's not just
Peter Obi and Obiano.
Governors who have picked successors, whom their successors disappointed. There are over 8 in the country.
Okay.
So Fubara is just the recent one that comes to mind.
All right. But the question is, why did it come into play now? Because are you the one that selects whom the people of the state will vote for? Is that what you're categorically telling us, is that as a second-time governor, once you're leaving, whomever it is you select that will become the next governor, you should ensure that person will be loyal to you. In other words, is it not the people of the state that should decide whom to vote? Why must it be the person you pick?
A long time ago. Now we're still on this. The people are an afterthought now. The people have been captured the people don't determine who becomes governor again. It's the court and the governor, the outgoing governor. You understand? If the court sanctions it, if the court agrees, then it becomes a governor. If not, I mean, we've passed this stage. That's part of the reform we're talking about. If you don't reform the electoral system, the people will not be able to choose and make a governor.
Who's going to reform it?
That is what I'm saying, that it is required. That is the requirement. That's what we need to have the people.
INEC said they have about 100 and something new reforms, whatever, for the Electoral Act. They're hoping the National Assembly looks into it.
Have Nigerians looked into it? You get what I'm saying? As it come into the public space, did we see whether it's something that we need or not?
It's in the public space now.
So what are those things in the public space that's not discussed?
INEC actually put it out there. They are saying that right now they know that they have a lot to do. In fact, some people believe that what INEC has as its Electoral Act or guideline is good enough to actually conduct a transparent election.
I've seen INEC's proposal to the National Assembly. Yes, and I think it was well researched, very objective, very altruistic. But the National Assembly will have to look at how they will couch those amendments so that it will reflect the thoughts and the aspirations. And they will get to a stage where you will also call Nigerians to make input on public hearing and all that. So people will make it
at the last minute. Anyway,
but it's not last minute.
I want to ask you something. Is this part of it? Because this thing I've been looking.
What part of it?
No, I want to mention it because I've been looking at it for a long time. I've been monitoring international elections, and I see that it's very, very key in democracy, in transparency. Why do we always have 1 day election? Why can't you have like 1 week or 2 weeks election? You understand? Where you can go in within 2 weeks and Nigerians will vote.
Is that part of
why international elections are not 2 weeks now?
No, but
Like
Barrister
a
Evans
week. I mean,
Ufeli, is
it's
that
not a
part of
day.
what is in new?
It's not a day now. It's not
Is that
a
part of
day.
what is in the electoral
No,
guideline or
no.
electoral act?
Because this one day thing is always it's another it's a big problem to
Mr. Lawal
our
Kundai,
election.
well, before you even propose this what you're saying now is actually, but it's not even part of what INEC is proposing.
That's
Let's
what
even
I'm
look
saying.
at let's even look at what INEC is even proposing and understand if it is going to be applicable. Because right now there's a protest against there's a protest on electoral reform. For the reformation of INEC and our electoral reform. There's been a protest on it. In fact, there's this individual that has been threatening. He has even gone to the...
Randy Peters.
Yes, exactly. Even in Abuja, got submitted to Ireti Kingibe, telling her that they need to push this at the National Assembly, the need for electoral reform as fast as possible. Otherwise, any election conducted is obviously going to fall out like it did the last time. Is it possible that the National Assembly would look into this expediently?
They will.
They would?
They will look into it, but I don't think they may get a hold of it before the 2027 election.
So they may deliberately slag on it?
Not necessarily deliberately. It takes a lot of time. That's not the only bill in the house.
Okay, well,
okay, wait.
not the-
Another
and
thing
they
by
will pass it the other
is
one
it
very
possible,
fast.
for example, the registration of new political parties? The coalition members are alleging that INEC is deliberately stalling in the registration of political parties, and that before you know, there will be no longer time for the political parties, whether they are colluding or not, to decide on what to do, especially if it's taking so long for those political parties to be registered. And those who have them as their star quest are actually waiting for something to be done. Before you know, if there is nothing done as soon as possible in terms of registering those political parties, then the APC may actually have a
The
headway.
political parties that want to have their political party registered, they know what to do. If an institution of government is not functioning optimally, if they're in dereliction of their duty, you go to court, ask for an order of mandamus for the court to compel them to act in their
Some of them said they
capacity.
wrote since March, some since
it's not
February,
to be
and that
writing to
INEC has
INEC.
not responded.
Barrister, wait, Barrister, let me ask you this
It's
one.
to get an order of court to have it done.
Wait, Barrister, let's look at this. Let's look at this labor CTC that they got from Supreme Court that they submitted to INEC. And INEC said it's still studying it at this moment. So what do you think they can go to court and force INEC to come up within a short time, make decisions?
Get an order now, yes.
Okay, so now let's look at
how in the order. Okay, we'll give them a time within which to conclude.
So before the court will eventually give them date, before they will do this, before they will do that. I mean,
getting an order does not take time. It's not, you are not calling witnesses, you are not doing trial, you are not doing anything, just a motion. See, when we say, I don't know how to let Nigerians know about this our court system. They feel that every case has to take time, take care, no. You need to bring a motion. That motion, we're not calling witnesses, you're not doing trial, you're not doing anything. The court will look at it. If it's credible, if it's expedient, with an affidavit of urgency, the court will look into it, either give the order or reject it. You understand? So that is it. So it doesn't take time. Those who want to have, they know what to do. They have a legal team. It's not we that will tell them what to do. You want to have a political party registered. It's in the law that political parties should be registered and the rest of that. But INEC is not listening to you. What do you do? You have to seek redress. You can't take the laws into your hand. You can't go to their office and then carry placard and start to demonstrate there. No. That's not what you're supposed to do. You go and seek redress. A judicial review. The court will give a judicial review.
But
So
what about these 27 lawmakers that defected in Rivers? Why do you have this prolonged, decision about this thing?
That one they are calling witnesses now. That's to do with.
But even up till now, sir, there's been
in
fact part of the negotiation, peaceful negotiation between Wike and the other governors. Remember that they had a reconciliatory committee headed by Saraki, and one of the motive was to ensure that whatever is written against the Supreme Court concerning the state of emergency imposed on Rivers should be retracted. And that the governors had not done that, and that's one of the agreement where they have reneged, and that he's going to fight them. So it's obvious that there's an agreement for that particular state of emergency not to be questioned or fought against, and that the PDP governors are being based on the reconciliation they had with Saraki in Saraki's house. That was part of the conditions that were laid down to ensure that certain things were in place if some certain things would be smoothened over in the PDP. And obviously he felt that Sheyi Makinde and a couple of others had reneged in it, and so he's going to fight, for example, to ensure that Samuel Anyanwu remains the secretary of the PDP.
They went to court. Okay. So if an agreement is ongoing, usually they will ask that the matter in court be withdrawn. Not that there was an agreement for the, because because a lot of people are listening to us, that there was an agreement not to challenge. I don't think so. If there's an agreement not to challenge instead of emergency, why did they go to court?
They had gone to
They
court.
told them to withdraw
They
it.
had a reconciliation meeting.
Withdraw the case. That's
Need
what
to
I'm saying.
withdraw it. So part of their agreement is for the PDP governors to withdraw
the
that
case.
from the Supreme Court.
That's
they should
the
no
normal
longer
thing.
fight it, and that what's his name, Samuel Anyanwu, should be retained as the secretary of the PDP. That was also part of the conditions given for
Which
the
is in dispute
negotiation,
as we speak.
which is in dispute as it is being
Very
spoken.
well.
Then concerning the Southeast Caucus, saying that if Ude Okoye is not considered, they would leave. What's his name? Wike felt that he had already spoken on that, and that could be
In the
dealt
spirit
with.
of agreement, all disputes has to be resolved. All what do you call it, bad blood and bitterness and all that you have to withdraw all your arsenals, your fight, everything. That's how it's done, so that they don't come to a clean slate and reinstate him. Okay,
But
so I don't think anything is wrong with that.
Do you think that the
my
president
issue-
is in charge of the coalition?
The president
Is in charge of the coalition.
which of the coalition?
The coalition being set up. So there are permutations that the coalition being set up, the president is underneath, behind it. Know the workings of the coalition. Ensure that the coalition doesn't turn up into anything. Completely neutralized and liquidated. Possibly one of the political maneuverings to ensure that whatever comes out of it, if Peterobi is part of the mix, nothing comes out of it, which would create an undebatable clean sweep for him in 2027. Do you think that could be a political angle to look into?
This is your Peter Obi.
No, it's
don't
not
know.
me. It's not my Peter Obi. These are conversations that are being had. I followed the space 2 days ago and
know.
even today,
I
based
know.
on what
There
is
was-
going on.
yeah,
All
there
of them
was-
are talking about it.
Yeah. I followed one yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a deep conversation, very well entrenched. Okay, but if you listen to them carefully too, so many issues are from assumption. People are not really clear.
Yes.
They didn't let the public into it. So like
Was just the speaker speaking.
Yeah, the journalists are just getting snippets of what is going on. Not really that they opened it to the public
Okay.
to see everything. So it's difficult for you to really state the exact position of the president, how it relates to Peter Obi and whoever.
Okay.
It's very difficult to say so. But I believe that all things being equal, they'll get over it.
All right. Nasir El-Rufai says Nigeria is facing its most difficult moment since the 1914 amalgamation, blaming what he described as urban bandits for hijacking the nation's leadership. He spoke at a lecture, obviously, during Rotimi Amaechi's birthday. In his words, Nigeria is in its biggest trouble since 1914, and that is why we are together working and conspiring to build a coalition to take Nigeria back on track, because it is off track. We have allowed urban bandits, not the ones in the bushes, but the ones in the urban area, called the urban bandits, to take over leadership. He said Nigeria's misfortune is a result of repeatedly elected incompetent people who do not understand the demands of governance.
When did I don't believe El-Rufai when he was talking like this. He didn't get ministerial appointment. So since he didn't get ministerial appointments, he has been acting funny, telling us about Nigeria and the rest of that.
All right.
When did he develop this empathy for Nigeria?
I don't
This
know.
man. This man that is talking, because we should be careful even when we analyze, because a lot of people are just talking out of frustration.
Okay.
He didn't make it to the ministerial
Yes.
list. Okay, there are so many issues against him. DSS,
Wahala.
all those. He didn't pass. See, he's talking like a wounded lion. Okay.
So you didn't trust whatever
that
it
is
is?
That is not to say that this government is doing well.
Okay.
But referring to them as city bandits or whatever it's calling it.
It's too
I
extreme.
don't think. Yeah, that's it, because the El-Rufai, I know, if he had gotten a ministerial appointment and he had been in this government, if anybody make that statement, he will be the first person to get back to respond to that statement. That's what he does. I mean, he'll be the first person to do that. So today, because he's now calling Nigeria, say Nigeria is in this in Nigeria. When did this start? You
All
understand?
right, let's get the reaction. Mr. Lawa Ekundara, 08036929933, 08036929933. That's the number to call. We'd like to hear from you what you think based on the few snippets we've had in terms of the conversation today on our political climate. What's your take based on recent happenings and how Nigerians have been reacting to this? Hello, good evening. How are you? Oh, we've lost that connection. 08036929933. That's the number to call. 08036929933, or you call 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening. How are you? Hello. Yes, good evening. How are you? What's your name, please? What's your name?
My name is Andrew. Small.
Okay.
So
what is the problem? Hello?
I said your time. You always be behind schedule. Yeah,
okay.
You're late. You people are late all the time. It's not the best.
Okay.
Please work on it.
All right, please go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Okay. The second one is the analyst said it very clear. What we need is to win, not to gather vote. To gather vote, if I go there, I will get some vote. I will vote for myself. If you say go there, you do that. But can you win politically, like he said? Talk among you didn't just mention that. You have to have a very, 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 in fact, almost like toy soldiers to help you to fight. You know what they said that video? Let's throw the power, smuggle it, take it and run away. That is what is happening here. If you don't have people to help you to fight,
all right, thank you. Thank you very much. 08036929933. That's the number to call. 08036929933. And the WhatsApp number is 0817175638. Hello, good evening. How are you? Hello. Oh, we're having connection issues here. 08036929933. Hello, good evening. How are you? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good evening. How are you?
Hello?
I can hear you. Where is that noise coming from? 08036929933. That's the number to call. 08036929933. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello, good evening, Esther.
Yes, good evening, sir. What's your name? Is this Chike?
Yes.
All right.
Chike from Apapa.
Chike, please go ahead.
Yes. What I want to say briefly is that as it stands today in Nigeria politics, the best and the good candidate is Peter Obi. But the problem that attached to him, the hindrance that may stop him from becoming a president is that he don't have talks that will go to any polling unit that wanted to vote for the opposition, the vote for APC. He don't have the violence mind to send people to go and kill somebody who will protect the vote, the agent or stuff like that. And that is the problem he have. So that may stop him from becoming a president. Secondly, the Atiku himself is the only person who can behave like the opposition, who have the violence mind indirectly, who also, have the capacity in terms of so many things, to be able to withstand the incumbent. So what I advise, that the obedience and the people who want to support Obi should accept whatever agreement you want to reach with Atiku, because you can never compare the ticket of Obi and Atiku to Tinubu.
All right. Thank you very much, Chike. 08036929933. That's the number. 08036929933. And the WhatsApp number is 0817175638. 0817175638. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. What's your name, please?
My name is Joya. This is my first time calling this place.
All right, welcome. Let me ring the bell for you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I really enjoy your program.
Thank you.
Every night I used to listen, especially Mr. Darlington and the lawyers that are always on the studio. I really enjoy the program. I really enjoy the session. And God continue to bless the session of God to bless you also for the program. Okay. Thank you so much. What is happening this night, what I had concerning the coalition, I want to contribute that my own is let Atiku support, gather support to the younger ones so that we move forward. But for him to come as, being the flag bearer for this coalition, I don't think that is going to work. So people are looking upon the younger ones that are following. If they can be able to gather the support for people, I think we will be able to achieve something. So I thank the lawyer there for all the we continue. God continue to bless.
All right, thank you very much. 080-3692-9933. That's the number to call. 080-3692-9933. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello.
Hello? Hello.
Esther, good evening.
Hi, Jova. Where are you?
I'm in the house, so you know how you people are shouting, talking, my children and wife.
All right, please go ahead, Jovo.
Esther, how are you now? It's been a long time.
No, now you, I go say long time. You know the call.
Mr. Lawale Kundayo, good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, sir.
And the other guest, I don't know
Evans
his name. I greet you, sir. I wish to know his name.
Good evening.
Good evening. Esther.
Sir.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
The people who are running this country, the governors and the presidents, they are taking us for a ride. They are taking us for granted. What is all this support? Everybody supporting the president for the second term, blah, blah, blah. When the first time is not even good. First time is being setting Nigerians into deep problems here and there. And the president is talking about second time. Is it in constitution that somebody will rule 8 years in this country? The answer is no. I know you have a barrister in that studio to at least refute my claim if I am wrong. What we vote for people for is one term. American president that left before this new president did one term in office. And the Ghanaian president one time. A lot of people are doing one term now. So whatever this coalition with Peterobi Atiku can achieve to just make sure that we change from what we have today, I am in support of it. We cannot continue to live like this now. The next thing, they're doing campaign now. Nobody's talking about the welfare of people anymore. And the next 2 years will just be like this. And somebody come and rule for another 6 years. Please, whatever will make us to get out of this kind of quagmire or this mess, Esther, is good for me. If Peter Obi cannot be the vice president or anywhere, if Atiku can do it, let's first of all get out from this problem before we think about other.
Okay, so you don't mind Peter Obi being the vice and Atiku being your president. Okay. 080-3692-9933. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Welcome. What's your name, please?
Hello?
I can hear you, sir. What's your name? Hello?
Hello, good evening.
I can hear you. Oh, I think there's a connection situation. All right, let me take some messages. Good evening, Esther and analysts. Nigerians, when are we going to leave talking, and analyzing the political imbalance and unseat these political rascals? Okay, calm down. Calm down now. I mean, are we not going to have a conversation? With negotiations we had? Good evening, Esther, your analyst. Please help us as the authors of Loyal. Who do you think they can work with Obi if it's not Atiku? Please, he should tell us. Barrister Evans Ofeli. They said tell us so.
That what?
Who do you think?
Apart from Atiku.
Apart from Atiku. Who amongst those crop of persons that have supposedly shown their interest?
Yeah, it's Peter Obi that will answer the question. Peter Obi have said he does not want that the coalition he wants is the one that's against poverty. Is Atiku ready for that? Is Atiku ready for it?
All right, this is from Aberdeen. Leaders like Atiku, Erifan, Amaechi have held significant power, but their track records raise questions. What tangible power What tangible progress did they achieve during their tenure? Their coalition appears doomed from the start, given their histories of controversy and corruption. I urge President Tinubu to stay focused, maintain transparency, and prioritize Nigeria's needs in his policies and programs. Abidin from Bagada. All right. Hello, good evening. How are you? Turn down the volume of your radio, please. Hello? Hello?
Sorry, Esther, my dear.
Good evening,
Hello.
sir. Good evening,
This is
sir.
Babo talking.
Babo, happy new month, sir.
Hello?
Happy new month. I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, happy new month.
Yes,
You
sir.
see, let me tell you something. I not talk grammar. Make I talk am for pidgin. Nigerians never begin to suffer. When we begin suffer, we go stand up. You see the youths of Nigeria, we never see something. When we see something, we go stand up.
Okay.
People when don pass 50 years and 60 years, then don't they reach their graveyard. But the ones when be 13, 15, 18, 20, 25, then get long way to go. You see what thing that happen for Nigeria now? How much be bag of rice, beans, yam, gari, even soap to bath. Some people know they bath for good 3 days now because no money to buy soap. Nigeria never begin suffer. We go suffer more. I know they tell lies. Not true how they talk. Look at Sri Lanka. Look at what happened in Sri Lanka. Youth came out and drove the president away from his president house. No light in Sri Lanka. The youths came out, drove the president away, went to the kitchen and saw the turkey and chicken the president is eating. Say, you will go blind your eye here before we go begin kill you. We go cut your parts like meat when they inside. So Nigerians never begin suffer. When we see suffer, we go stand up. Now we still a sedan. Look at Burkina Faso. You saw what is happening in Burkina Faso. Nigeria, they dance up and down. We are just gallivanting. We are just talking rot.
Hey, Babo, thank you very much. Esther Kuroleo, meaning good evening. I'll teach you around my beautiful language. I said it well. My lawyer, good evening, sir. Engineer Olasukomi Adufuye, also known as Mr. Lasso from Ijesha Tedomushi. Esther, the issue about Obi and Atiku, whom to be president and vice, is very logical because Obi's politics no so strong like Atiku. 2, federal experience, Atiku has it more than Obi, even than present president. Obi just become another option, robotic to we Nigerians than both gladiators, that is Tinubu and Atiku. So to my own analysis, only if Obi could run as vice to Atiku for him to gain the window open for next future contest opportunity, if God will. But if it's a stand run aside the platform alone, it won't be easy to unseat Jagaban, being political and politicking wisdom both in and out. Good night. All right, thank you very much. So Pastor Evans, what would you say concerning this?
She has summarized it. I mean, she did it so thoughtfully that just that Peter Obi would not yield to Atiku's coalition for Atiku to be the flag bearer. For so many reasons. Even the Peter Obi's supporters do not even want that for Peter Obi.
Some of them want it too, but it seems like majority are like...
he has done it before now. He did it in PDP.
Yeah, he did it before, but it didn't work for them and all that. And it seems to be the only option available. Atiku is not going to be vice because he has been vice before, according to source. Because we know that he was vice during Obasanjo's time and all that. So he wants to be but the truth is Peter Obi told him that the coalition I'm talking about is the one that will put Nigeria out of poverty, the one that will create employment, the one that will do all that. And that's an old man's way of telling a crooked politician that we are not saying the same thing. Because I don't think Atiku is up for that. Atiku's ambition and direction is quite different. He just want to be a president.
Mr. Lawal Ekundare, what would you advise President Bola Tinubu to do if Nigerians are not happy? Is he not listening? If some of them say they are not happy, how about without you blowing your own trumpet? What would you advise him to do now?
When somebody is not listening, how do you advise the person?
No, when
people are, you get it. Somebody is not listening. You want to advise
the ball falls on his table, but in some instances, I remember in a recent chat he told the governors they need to do well. Another thing, an extension of governance is beyond him. The governors need to do well. If he has increased their FAC allocation, if the senators and the House of Reps has increased their money, so some of them, the issue for the fact that governance is not getting to the grassroots has to do with the governors, the House of Rep members, the senators, the councillors. So everything, the president cannot do it alone. The governors too are elected.
So somebody carry everything.
No, I'm just saying.
No, wait. The government is not doing well.
You put everything on your head.
It's not Tinubu that's the problem.
That's what I'm asking. I said he had a chat recently, and he told the governors, "You need to do well." He said it. He said, "You need to do well."
In my state, the governor and the former governor collaborated in criminal concert, took 1.3 trillion of the funds of the people of Delta State and went to fritter it. So that is Tinubu that caused that one too.
You see, now that's what I'm saying. So that is why he spoke.
Excuse me.
He spoke to the governors.
Wait, Esther. See, you can't have all the powers, and then you are not saying they should not blame you. You have all the power now. You are the commander-in-chief of armed forces. You are the commander of police. You are the clinical. You share the revenue. You do this and that. You do this and that. Every other thing. You are there, and you tell them not to blame you. You carry all the powers into your hands now, and they must blame you if it's not working, because you carry it. They will blame. So when they talk about insecurity, okay, wait. Like I'm coming. Like he is the problem. You know why? Because look at your governor. You said something about the governor now that he collided with the past governor and He appointed the EFCC chairman and ICPC chairman. You get it? Their duty is to make sure that all these things are, prosecuted. Did they do that? And nobody is saying anything. So we are not going to. He will be the one, because he is the one who appointed all that. You get it? Right. He's the one who is appointing that.
So for you,
so
you think that the brunt of anything happening falls on the table of the president?
Because you carry all this. They say, okay, disseminate power.
Or irresponsibility of the governors that were elected by the people of the states.
Yes.
You think that everything falls on the bulk of the table of the president?
Let me clarify it.
Okay.
The president has his own blame, which is very enormous. The governors have their own blames.
Okay.
You get it? For example, let me give you this. The governor collects security votes.
I will not blame the president for the money my governor stole.
Wait, I'm not saying steal. Don't blame him for stealing. Blame him for bringing them to account.
Bringing them to account.
Yes.
For bringing them to account.
Wait.
For bringing them to account. Are you sure? For not bringing them to account?
No. Sorry. Okay, I wanted to say for not bringing them to account. Sorry. Now, what I want to say is this: the EFCC is appointed by the president, and he controls it, and that is their duty.
The EFCC is appointed. Okay, the EFCC
chairman is appointed by him, and it is duty of the EFCC chairman to do that. It is the duty of the ICPC, the chair that is in the control of the presidency, to do that. So if they are not doing it, then we'll blame the person who is monitoring them.
Okay, Mr. Lawal Kondaya, thank you very much. We've come to wrap onto this program. We have another program coming up. Thank you so much for giving us your insight, Barrister Evans Sufeli. Thank you. Some people may not agree with you. Some people think you're a silent APC member.
No. They have called me all sorts.